Hi, welcome to Her Heart Unarmored podcast and collective. We are really excited to have you here. So, what is Her Heart Unarmored? It was an idea that came from my role as a therapist as well as being in therapy. I recognize the ways that we, as women in particular, really just need a space to be validated and normalized with all of the crazy stuff that we have going on. So many of us don't talk about the things that we need to talk about, and quite frankly, that we should be talking about. At the end of the day, my hope for this podcast is to really create a space that's judgment free, where we as women can go and talk about all of the things that we keep armor around because we can't talk about it, or we don't talk about it, or we were never taught how to talk about it. With that being said, the other piece to this that I feel like is really important is if you're in Western PA or the Pittsburgh, PA area, we are also going to be pairing these with in-person meetings. So with that being said, once a quarter, we are likely going to find a space here in my office or somewhere else where we can actually meet people and talk about these things in an in-person context. Because the way I believe healing starts is by talking about it and having that space held for us. Now, with that being said, who the hell am I to start all of this? I'm Gina. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am a mom of two young boys. I am a wife of 10 years. And I am also a daughter, friend, cousin, all of the above, except for sister. No siblings, but close enough. However, with that being said, I really recognize that both as a therapist and as someone who is in therapy herself, that there was a huge space missing of a lot of times women don't need therapy, they just need validated. They just need a space to feel like everything is normal and that what they're going through isn't a unique situation to them. Now, with that being said, let me put out the disclaimer that this is not a replacement for therapy. I am not going to be a therapist in this role. I still highly recommend therapy for everybody. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I'm a very practice what you preach. In fact, if you are a client of mine and you happen to come across this, you will recognize that this is who I am all of the time. What you see is what you get. However, this space is not meant as therapy. It's meant as a supplement for something I think that is really missing from the therapeutic space. With that being said, I'm really, really hopeful that this podcast is going to give people a space for free to have these conversations. We'll be able to listen, have conversations, and then either through social media or online, really emphasize the community part of this. So, with that being said, what is this podcast going to look like? I'm going to host 2 or 3 other women, and we are going to have really in depth conversations about things that we don't talk about. Our first couple episodes are going to be about body image, medical gaslighting, how difficult it is to make friends as an adult. We're also going to be talking about periods and how our bodies work, mom rage, perimenopause, the generation gap that happens with women, and how difficult it is to maintain boundaries sometimes. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about men and their impact on us. We're going to be talking about it all. If there's anything that you want to contribute, we're always open to that. We would love to have as many voices and as much diversity as we absolutely can, especially for those women who are marginalized, because their voice sometimes gets lost to the void even more than the rest of us. So please reach out through any of our socials or our website. It's all under herheartunarmoured.com, or just using that handle on social media. You should be able to find it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Um, but also, feel free to give any feedback about what you'd like to hear, if you'd like to participate, if there's anything that would help unarmor your own heart. Because at the end of the day, that's really ultimately what this space is going to be used for. So I'm really happy that you guys are along for the ride. And I hope that this is a space that gives you some time to think and lets you know that you are not alone.